Although,
Right.
what do you think of the repetitive? You had internships. Now you're going to have the work study. It's like not the internship, but it kind of is. You gotta love to be God magnet. Don't you grab it. Welcome to Lobster Magnet Friends. I'm here with my buddy Goro.
Hey, what's up?
And we are here to talk about My Hero Academia Season 3, the last 3 episodes. So, Goro, what did you think of the end of this season of My Hero Academia, the introduction of the Big Three, and the end of the Provisional Hero License exam?
Well, I'm surprised they ended the season like that. Kind of like not really like in a very climactic moment. It's just kind of like, oh, here's a preview. They showed like a preview of the next season, right? Too.
I forget. I think they just said that Season 4 exists. I was a little bit surprised, too. I didn't think they were going to go that far because, like, the next big arc is obviously the introduction of the Big Three and Togeda, Mirio, and whatnot. And I thought that that was, like, a better jumping off point of kicking off a new season as opposed to ending it. But I guess, they didn't want to stretch out the content. And, if it's that versus, like, I thought the Bakugo versus Deku fight 2.0 was really, really well done.
Yeah, actually, that fight could have been like probably a little bit extended to if they really wanted to.
Well, I think they did a really great job because, I mean, in manga adaptation content, that's like, 3, maybe 4 chapters worth of shit
Right.
in terms of choreography. And, like, did you really want it extended with, like, that One Piece thing I showed you where they just, like, sit there and growl at each other and then they're slow zooming pans up?
Dun dun dun
Dun, dun.
dun.
Step.
Dun,
Dun, dun,
dun,
dun,
dun.
dun, 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 dun,
And then the
dun.
crowd is like going like, "Hey,
Oh!
look, we just stepped
He
forward."
just stepped forward. Oh, Nani! Oh. Yeah. Do you really want that? I thought it was a really good version of that fight.
Yeah, it was. It was a really good fight. I had to watch it again even, um, just to refresh my memory on how good of a fight it was, and also because I saw it on lower quality mobile phone quality before.
Yeah, well, then now you got to see it full quality, and it was a good fight and a really great performance from the Japanese voice actor of Bakugo.
Yeah, definitely.
And I did love it how he like grows in terms of like sort of facing his own inadequacy. Like is my dream to be the best so much lower than yours? If All Might acknowledged you, and then it like comes to back to like the fact that he's holding the guilt that
He ended All Might's career basically,
yeah,
right?
exactly. That he's responsible, which indirectly he kind of is, but you could say it was like beyond his control. But like in his logic, if he was stronger, he would have beaten up all the bad guys and never get captured because that's what losers do.
Right. And I could definitely understand Bakugo's predicament with that, and that I think that really sells his internal struggle to me. It's like it's something like you don't really like think about, like because you were so focused. We're all the time we're really focused on Deku, not so much on Bakugo because he's kind of like a asshole all the time. But when Bakugo does like express that feeling that he's feeling guilty about All Might, it's like completely believable.
Yeah, and this is definitely one of like the stronger examples of Horikoshi's writing, where he gives Bakugo a little bit more of a deeper characterization than you'd think like evil asshole bully character should get.
Yeah,
Because he's basically like a jerkier version of Susky minus the cool, and he's just a hateful, mean person all the time. But then you scratch down the surface and you see someone who's a little bit more thoughtful and a bit smarter than you'd expect him to be.
yeah.
So it's definitely like there are some instances where I think I wish Horikoshi would bring that sort of instinct to other things, but this is definitely an example of him going above and beyond. And did you like the backstory of like the multiple Deadpool guy?
Oh, where it wasn't very obvious at first whether or not he was Deadpool or not. The Deadpool multiplication guy.
Yeah, exactly. Where you're not quite sure who he is, and then like you get his whole backstory that he.
That was really cool. I love that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite little backstories in the series, and it's another thing where I think
that surprised me, like how well that was done. Actually, that was a really pleasant surprise. It's like it goes like deep into the psychology of like what would it be like to have that kind of power, and also the character's history as well. And
well, it's the perfect origin story, and it's the perfect backstory, and it's told very quickly. It gets its point across like without wasting time. It's like the perfect little nugget backstory, and it's like definitely one of the things I really loved. Honestly, I thought that the whole series was going to end there. I thought the season was going to end there on that point, and then like introducing that like, oh, Shigaraki's moving in the background, kind of like how season 2 ended on my favorite moment where Shigaraki is his interview with Midoriya.
Oh yes, yeah.
You remember that?
I remember that.
And you love that moment when you saw it in context. And I thought that would have been a really good endpoint, but I guess they're like, let's not throw in another filler, so it's better not to waste time on fillers. So I guess we should be thankful for that. So they went a little further than I thought would be the natural endpoint. But yeah, I do love that backstory. I thought it was a really fun, really good backstory, and also ties into what I'm hoping will be the larger themes of My Hero Academia, in the sense that like he says that, like, for a person like me, who's gonna save me?
Who says that again?
The multiple Deadpool guy.
Sorry, that sentence you just said really confused me. Just repeat it once more.
I hate you. The multiple Deadpool guy, when he like puts on his mask and he like helps his multiple personality disorder from like breaking up. He says that like for a bad guy like me, there's no heroes who are gonna come save me.
Oh. Okay.
So it's sort of like building up this thing, and then in this superhuman society that certain people have prejudice towards them because of the whatever quirks they develop, and the superhuman hero society isn't built to save them, so that's how they fall into the cracks of society and become villains.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting way to think about it. It's like adding like a lot more depth into the universe.
Yeah, and that's sort of like the journey that Shigaraki needs to overcome to become a greater villain, to like understand that he needs to be the hero for villains. He needs to like show that like, I'm going to be your hero to help you villainous outcast people. And little by little you get little pieces of and that was like a big one. Like who's going to save me? And it gives you a sort of better idea of why the League of Villains would be so appealing to someone like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And hopefully, if Horikoshi's really smart and he doesn't, has Deku go beyond just being a punch boy, Deku's ultimate challenge to surpass All Might will be learning how to become a hero, not just to regular people, but for the people who are cast out.
I see what you're saying. That's an interesting idea. I wonder what would make Deku like go to that level of like trying to save villains as well, to possibly bring him from the dark side to the light side.
Well, that's what like, and Max Landis did like this great rundown of like Superman ages ago, where he talked about what makes him a great character and why he loves Clark Kent, and he says that like Superman, nobody poses a threat to Superman. You know, do you think the Parasite or Brainiac or anyone else is a threat to him? You know, he's an adult dealing with children, and basically, you know, in the best Superman stories, Superman saves them from themselves.
Yeah. Was it? They save them from. He saves them from themselves. So he's saving the villains from themselves, from doing something that they would regret for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, or falling down their mania or depression or just destructive tendencies. At least in the better Superman stories.
By the way, that's some serious glare you got going on over there.
Yeah, well, it's the fucking light of dun dun.
The fucking sunbeam light that Invisible Girl should have blasted at anime Tintin.
So you liked all those points. You loved the fight. You enjoyed the introduction of Twice. Did you enjoy the teasing of Birdman, who's going to become the new villain?
Oh, the guy with the
the plague doctor mask.
He seemed like a cool character design.
He is. He's definitely becomes like a major force later on. God damn it. So you know, that's a big indication of what you can look forward to in season 4 whenever that hits. But what do you think of Anime Tintin?
The fun character. He's like just he reminds me a lot of All Might, like a young All Might, but just like super energetic and happy all the time.
That's very interesting. You should say that. There's a minor spoiler which I'll save for you to find out later.
He's probably gonna be like All Might's like long lost bastard child.
No, not quite like that. It's a little different, but you'll find out. But it's funny. He's like a very kind of like basic character, but like overall later on they should kind of like really build him up, and he gets a lot of really cool hero moments, which when they animate they'll be like, oh shit, I can't believe it. Although, what do you think of the repetitive? You know, you had internships, now you're going to have the work study. It's like not the internship, but it kind of is.
Yeah, it's like. These are serious. These are going to be serious internships. Or now you're going to use your provisional licenses.
Well, we know you technically used your quirks last time, but you weren't supposed to. But now you kind of can use your quirks.
Yeah, as long as there is an adult there, then you can definitely use your quirks.
But now an adult doesn't have to be there because you've got your provisional license.
Yeah.
So overall, what do you think of this season? What did you think of these last few episodes? How would you rate them?
They were very solid. I was very pleasantly surprised with how the season was ending up. Like, I love the ball throwing tournament thing for the provisional licenses. That was fun. And then afterwards, Deku and Bakugo get into a fight, and then meeting Anime Tintin, and him beating the shit out of all the classmates. But you know, the fact that Invisible Girl didn't
you were so disappointed that
sneak up on him and like do her super special blinding flash thing to stop him, it disappointed me a little bit. You know, Invisible Girl's obviously the best superpower, and but besides that, was a fantastic season. It's 8.5 for me.
For what, these past few episodes or the whole season?
Oh, for these past few episodes, yeah, let's give those past few episodes 8.5. And
I'm surprised you didn't give a higher. Well, all right, so in the whole season.
The whole season was, I guess it was an 8.
What? You didn't like the hideout raid arc or the summer camp?
The summer camp?
Yeah, the training camp that eventually leads into the villains attacking them. God damn it. Superman light.
The villains attacking the
Remember
summer...
at the very beginning? They go to the summer camp with the pussycats, and then the villains...
Was that all this season?
Yeah, that was all this season.
Holy crap, it's been a long-ass season.
Yeah, 25 episodes is a lot of fucking episodes.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of like, you remember it in vague chunks, because there's the first chunk, which, happened in May when I forced you to watch it with, for my birthday. I used a birthday point to watch you and Shawnee to watch it. And then you missed a lot of it until you saw them piecemeal. Then I kind of, forced your hand towards the end of the summer to start watching them again.
Yeah. Yeah, I still say an 8.
Why?
Because there's some parts of the season that were a little bit slow for me.
Like which parts? You seem to love the whole tournament.
The whole tournament was great. I feel like the All Might versus All for One fight was not as amazing as I was hoping it to be.
Oh, screw you. I mean, you could argue that, before they get into the meat of it, that, maybe, but, the United States of Smash, delivered on everything it could, and then him, whatchamacallit, seeing, his skeletal form over the fire.
Yeah, that's nice. Maybe it's because I was a little bit spoiled from...
Yeah.
Looking at the other panels.
I did kind of spoil it a little bit, but I still thought in context it was really well adapted.
Yeah, it was okay, but I think it could have been better.
Really? Oh, you're a little asshole. You're a little fucking asshole. I believe, fucking Karen. Why don't you go with Maria Antoinette and fucking Iron Fist so you can skip around to the scenes where Khalid shows up? Goddamn Karen.
She's she has nothing to do with that. This is my opinion of
Sure it is. She poisoned you.
My I'm very critical about anime in general.
You can be.
I can, and I've even been critical about Hunter x Hunter in the past, which is very rare, but it happens. But I think the All Might versus All for One fight could have been better, slightly better, just better animated, maybe a little bit more colorful. I think the colors were kind of
it's a dark scene. It's night.
I know it's at night.
It's like saying that oh, Darth Vader should be a little bit more colorful. Fine. You could stick with
let's talk about a different night fight that I like. I loved Bakugo versus
Deku.
Bakugo versus Deku. That was a really, really, really good night fight.
Yeah.
That could have been the fight for All Might and All for One, basically. That could have been as well animated, I think.
I don't know. I think you need to rewatch the clip to familiarize yourself with the United States of Smash. But you like that fight better. You thought it was better put together.
Yes.
Okay, well, let us know in the comments below whether you think Goro's a heresy or if you agree with him. I think these past few episodes were really good. They're a really great way to end the season. I think they're, 8.5 to 9. And I think the season was a pretty solid 9. They had a lot of great moments, very well adapted. My only complaints were the slight bit of stretched content and the occasional filler that nobody really gave a shit about. But it's nice. I like this approach of not just fuck them till they're dead. Where you just keep on making it again and again and again and again until the fucking One Piece or you know, Dragon Ball Super, or Black Clover, where you just keep on making it, you know, and you just don't stop, and you just keep on stretching things beyond their point, and then you take these like thin characters and you make them even worse because, you know, if you're writing fan fiction and you're just stretching it, then chances are you're just gonna write shit.
Yeah, yeah. At least with One Piece, like they can sort of get away with like more fillery things.
Well,
like,
One Piece is a goofier
like,
universe, so you can get away with it.
But you know, in terms of their animation, like that's they really just need more money for their animation, or they just need to stop the anime altogether, I guess. No, I can't say that.
Well, I think the best way is like have like hiatuses where, like, you know,
yes, hiatuses.
You know, like here's 4 months and here's you know, another edition, and you know, oh, this is great, and then we wait another few months and we get some more. You know,
you imagine like who is like religiously watching every single episode of anime One Piece right now, like since the beginning. I mean, like I want to see what happens to kids as they like watch like the more recent episodes of One Piece. Like what happens to them, the little toddlers, like by the time we get to the, you know, the growling scene, right? Or the, you know what I'm talking about, like the stalling growling scene where the like
if they sort of tolerate it.
If they're just
maybe they're just used to it because it's so prevalent in anime. But yeah, sometimes you don't get.
What if we see like hundreds of like passed out toddlers, you know, after after like 5 minutes of watching that kind of thing?
I don't know if I'd ever have the time for this, but one day I want to do like a super cut of like all the panning shots and all the scenes where they have like people like yell out their names, Luffy-san, Luffy, Luffy, Luffy.
Yeah. Oh,
oh no,
man, I'm so glad I switched from the anime to the manga. Like I'm way behind on the One Piece manga though. I gotta catch up.
So someday we'll force you. I'm like doing things one at a time. All right, so thank you for listening to us. Goro's got to head off soon, and there's some business I need to attend to with Goro before he heads off. And right. So those are our thoughts on the last few episodes of My Hero Academia and Season 4. See you next year for Season... oh, no. That was our thoughts for Season 3. See you next year for Season 4, whenever that hits.
All right. See you next year.
See you next year. Remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it.